Hi, and welcome to my classic solo of the month, classic blues solo of the month. And I'm Dave from Old School Blues Guitar, and this month we're going to take a look at one of the all-time masterpieces of electric blues guitar, and that is the solo by Hubert Sumlin in the song called Louise by the great Howlin' Wolf. And when I first started learning electric blues guitar, Hubert Sumlin was always one of my favorites. And one of the main reasons was because of his style was so different than the other blues guitar players of the time, and even anyone that's come before or since. And I cannot duplicate the way he played. In fact, I know he played bare-fingered, and he had some things he did to get the unique sound that he had. Now for me, to get a sound kind of like what Hubert Sumlin had, I'm using a Stratocaster, and I'm putting my toggle switch on the in-between position toward the bottom. So from the top of the switch, it would be the fourth out of 5 positions, and that in-between, kind of out of phase position allows me to get a tone that's kind of like Hubert's. Now I use a pick, but what I try to do is pick kind of with both the pick and my thumb or my forefinger, get some skin in there, as they say, and in that way I can at least approximate Hubert's sound. No one could ever capture it. I've never heard anybody play his sound the way he did except for him, and I've seen him play live. Saw him at the Chicago Blues Fest in 1986. So anyway, we're going to take the song Louise, which is a classic, and we're going to break it down phrase by phrase, and I'll admit there's a couple parts of this where I'm not sure exactly how he's playing it or what he's playing, but I'll offer you my opinions. Most of it I think I've got figured out, and if you have any corrections or any ideas for the parts that I'm not sure of, let me know, because that's part of the reason I do these videos, is so I can learn as well. Plus, it's like a big puzzle. It's just fun to try to unlock these things and figure them out. This one's a great one. And he starts in the key of A, and most everything he plays is going to be based on the first position A blues box. And so, let's just jump right into it. And I'll break this down phrase by phrase and try to go really slowly. The first part, he starts out with what I think sounds something like this. And so he's starting with this. In fact, I think he might climb into it from the 5th fret, so like this. Instead of from the 7th fret of the 4th string, he's starting here at the 5th fret of the 3rd string, and then to the 6th fret, and then the 5th fret, 7th fret of the 2nd string, and then he goes to this bend on the 3rd string. And getting that bend to exactly the right spot to make it sound like he did, that's challenging. That's an art. And I'm not saying that I've got it here, but this is what he's doing. And I think he bends it twice. He bends, so I've got my ring finger on the 7th fret of the 3rd string. I've got my 1st and 2nd fingers on the 5th and 6th fret. So I'm using 3 fingers. Call this a 3-fingered bend. So the whole thing bends, and he kind of sounds like he lets it go and then bends it again right away. And then he goes from the 5th fret of the 3rd string to the 7th fret of the 4th string. And he sounds like he gives a little smear, not as pronounced as he does in the next phrase. So that's the first phrase of the solo. And then he does this totally awesome lick. And I'm not sure exactly what he's doing, but it sounds to me like he's going sliding from maybe the 5th fret of the 2nd string, and then from the 8th fret of the 2nd string to the 10th fret. And he's going to wind up on the 10th fret of the 2nd string. So like this. Then he goes, sounds like the 7th fret of the 3rd string. And then here, which is a classic Hubert bend, where he's bending up on the 3rd string without any other fingers. So the whole lick, and that one he smears. And that's one of the cool things that I like about Hubert's playing. He's always doing these wild and crazy smears and runs and like really fast things. We'll get into some of this. So the whole solo so far. And so there we are. And then he's going to go back from that, sounds like from the 5th fret of the 2nd string to the 10th fret. And he just hammers on that. I don't think he's doing any vibrato or anything. He just, maybe just a little bit. Then he's going to slide. And this is classic. This is the lick out of all the licks in the song. When I was learning how to play, starting to learn how to play blues guitar, I wanted to learn how to play this. And he's just sliding on the A scale on the 1st string. So he's going from, sounds like from the 10th to the 12th to the 15th fret of the 1st string to the 17th fret. So if you're an A, this is an A chord, and those notes are an A. And then here at the 17th fret, that's the same as here at the 5th fret. Those are both A's. So that lick again. Really cool. So let's do the whole solo so far for Louise. Awesome. That is so fun to play. Not that you'd ever play this note for note unless you do the song Louise, but so many ideas in this tune. You know, the little bend, doing those bends, and sliding. You can use those in lots of different. Now the next part of the solo, he's going to go from this, and he's going to go back up to the 1st position blues box and play something like this. And I'm not sure if I got that exactly right, but I think I'm pretty close. So from here, he's going to go to the 5th fret of the 1st string, and then get the 8th fret of the 1st string twice. And then he's going to go to this bend. I think he hits the 5th fret of the 1st string again. And he's going to bend twice on the 2nd string. At the 8th fret, you can use your pinky and bend that up, and you get the 5th fret of the 1st string, like that. So the whole lick so far, something like that. Then he's going to go into this real rapid pull-off on the 1st and 2nd strings, like this. And when he does this, I don't know if it's a distortion of his guitar or something he's doing when he's picking, but to me it sounds almost like a double stop. Like somehow he's getting 2 strings. I think it might be the distortion on his guitar, and maybe when he's picking he's kind of hitting both strings. I can't do that. So I'm just going to show you what I know, which is pulling off. 1st string 8 to 5, 2nd string 8 to 5. And then he goes into this rapid lick, rapid fire lick. 2 bends, just like we did at the first part of the solo, bending up on the 3rd string. And then it sounds like he comes down from the 5th fret of the 3rd string to the 5th fret of the 3rd string to the 7th fret of the 4th string, just briefly. And then he goes into this, some kind of rapid lick there. I can't really tell note for note what he's doing, but it sounds to me like he's going into the bend. Something like that, just playing it extremely fast. Something like that. And so what I'm doing, I'm not sure again if this is right, bend once, and then start to bend again, and then come into that from the 5th fret of the 3rd string to the 5th fret of the 3rd string to the 7th fret of the 4th string, just real quick, and then some kind of lick. I don't know if he starts it on the 4th string, something like that, so playing it real fast, something like that, or if he starts it at the 5th fret of the 3rd string, something like that. see the tab for what I've got there. Either that or that might be it. Whatever it is, it's extremely cool. So that whole second part of the solo, or next part of the solo, and there we go. Then, after that fast lick, he goes into something like this. Let me try to play this all the way through. I'm not sure if I have that exactly right, but I'm pretty darn close. So he's doing this first lick, which is a typical electric blues type lick. I'm bending up on the 3rd string at the 7th fret, 3 fingers. Actually, 1st finger on the 5th fret, 6th fret, 7th fret. And I've got my 2nd finger getting really the 2nd and 1st strings of at the 5th fret. Getting that lick. And then I'm throwing in the 7th, 8th fret of the 2nd string. Sounds like a little pull-off. Something like that. So I'm bending up, then dragging my pick down on the 2nd of the 1st string on the 5th fret. Played really fast. Something like that. Then this part is kind of confusing. It's hard to hear exactly what he's doing, but it sounds like he's going something like that. And it's some kind of double stop. And I don't know if it's just the 5th, 7th fret, 2nd and 3rd string. Then a quick hammer on. Let me just walk through this. So I'm going 7th to 5th on the 1st string. Couple bends, that same bend we did before, twice. It sounds to me picking it like you might be picking both strings. Gets a little thicker sound. You don't just want the single string. You want to hear both of them. Something like that. Then it sounds like it does this quick little double stop from the 7th fret, 2nd and 3rd string, with my 1st finger on the 5th fret, 2nd and 3rd string. Quick hammer on with the 2nd finger on the 6th fret of the 3rd string. I'm not sure if that's exactly what he's doing. It sounds to me like this, the whole thing. Something like that. And then this part, I am sure about. He's going to hammer on and hold the 7th fret of the 1st string, which is really cool. To get something to sound cool, you don't just have to keep moving your fingers all the time. B.B. King with that one note, that this is the kind of thing that Hubert would do too. In some of his solos, he just slows everything down. And so what he's doing is going from the 7th fret of the 1st string, 8th fret, 5th fret on the 2nd string. Then he's holding it again, vibrato on the 7th fret of the 3rd string. Then he's sliding that 5th fret of the 2nd string, like that. So the next part of it, let's just try to play the whole thing all the way through if I can. So. Something like that. Then he comes with 4 bends on the 2nd string. And he's got his 1st finger, I think, on the 5th fret. This is what I call a long bend. And his pinky all the way on the 8th fret. And then his other 2 fingers fill in the frets in between. With 4 bends like that. So let's try that whole section again. Try to play it slowly. Four times, and then into the last part of the solo.